Hello everyone, welcome to the Microsoft Virtual Academy series, ITIL for IT Professionals. Today we're going to be talking about problem management. My name is Nathan Lesnowski. I'm Architect and Director of Infrastructure Concurrency. I'm going to be talking about how problem management can make the life of an IT professional so much better. Alright, so what is problem management all about? Problem management is about figuring out the root cause of things. It is the fixer of why we create incidents in the first place, because it resolves the root cause. It's like if you're always going to the doctor for the same things, and the doctor's like, look, you wouldn't have this issue if maybe you exercised more, you ate right, or you were taking your medication properly. There's these things that you're able to resolve the root cause, then you're not going to have the cold that you're getting all the time. Or if you washed your hands, maybe you wouldn't get sick as often. Right? So we're able to resolve those sicknesses by fixing the root cause that's creating that sickness. In the same case in IT, maybe a service pack needs a hot fix on it, or maybe the service pack itself is going to fix this issue that we're seeing on our server. And once I apply that service pack, then I won't see this issue anymore. Very, very common. The root cause is about figuring out that root cause is going to be addressed in the service pack because this particular bug exists in this revision of the software. Problem management also allows us to prioritize amongst many other root cause analysis tasks. So for example, let's say that I've got 100 different things that I'd love to figure out the root cause for. I've got servers that I need to reboot, I've got these issues that are caused by these patches, I've got all sorts of different things that are happening in my own environment. So I need to focus on the right things. Problem management facilitates the resolution of those things by focusing on the right activities. People only have so much time. We're working with a scarce resource. So we need to use that scarce resource in the most effective way. Problem management allows us to say, these problems are the most important to the organization. I want you to spend that 10% of your time that you have available on those activities. That's hard enough, right? We may have all sorts of things in our to-do list. There's maybe only 2 of them we're actually going to get to. Which ones am I going to prioritize practically? That's really where we get to an actual ability to implement, a really pragmatic kind of implementation step. Some managers are really good at giving people too much to do and then kind of expecting unrealistic things from them. We want to expect realistic things from people tied to realistic expectations, tied to actual things that we're asking them to do. So if I say, this list of 10 things is really important, that's not really giving them guidance. Problem management allows me to give someone effective guidance. So I'm saying, look, there's 10 things on this list. This one's the one I want you focusing on. The other 9 are important, but this is the one I want you to focus on. It allows for me to be very effective because I'm guiding them toward the right things. So another example would be like parenting, right? There's a lot of things that I want to correct, and there's a lot of things that I want to guide my kids around, right? But if I focus on the right things, I'm going to craft them in the way that they need to be crafted. I'm going to help them to have the right kind of character that they need to have. So if I focus on perhaps saying please and thank you on a regular basis, then they're probably going to say please and thank you. But if I just complain about the fact that they're not saying please and thank you, then I'm probably not doing an effective job of problem management in that case. So I need to really focus on the right things for them to be improving and focus intentionally on those right things for me to improve a behavior or improve an outcome. So also, by focusing on problem management, by taking that 10% of the time away from incident management to focus on problem management, I'm ultimately going to reduce the total number of incidents. So the outcome of problem management should be that I have less incidents. Right. So incident management and problem management really pair together. And problem management allows me to prioritize the root cause work that needs to happen. Think of it like your enterprise IT task list. If the first thing you do tied to problem management is simply writing down the things you want to fix, you're ahead of most other companies who don't do problem management. You're writing down the things that you want to address in IT, and then you're strategically going after those things that you want to address in IT. It allows you to be much more effective. All right, so how do we use Microsoft tools to be able to go after these particular problems? Well, Service Manager provides that same mechanism for problem management tied to incident management and service requests. So it also allows for us to be able to open up incidents and then use Operations Manager to be able to figure out root cause. So when Operations Manager opens up an alert, it actually shows us how I can fix that alert using root cause analysis. It says this hotfix might resolve it, or this issue, the service stop is causing this issue. We can also build remediation tied to Service Orchestrator or SMA. So for example, if this particular issue is happening all the time, part of problem management might be to develop a workaround. And then once we've used that workaround for a while, maybe we're then come up with a root cause analysis and we're able to fix it. While we're coming up with the root cause, that workaround can be used, maybe even automated inside of Orchestrator. So let's see a couple examples of this. Okay, so I'm inside of System Center Service Manager. Inside of Service Manager, you can see that I have an area called Problem Management. And it contains active known errors, active problems, closed problems, those needing review, and those resolved, right? So you can see different things that I have been tasked to work on as well as those that are open. Inside of active problems, I can see things like can't access email, wireless internet's not working, can't log into Outlook web access, and so on. Inside of here, I have different priorities that may or may not have been set. Now, let's talk about how I created these. So let's say I'm inside of an incident about wireless internet not working. When I'm inside that incident about wireless internet not working, maybe this happens a lot, and I want to define a process to fix it. So I can actually go and create a problem record right from inside the context of the incident. And when I look at that then, it then is going to provide me with a form inside of a problem to be able to work on that particular issue. So I can see a couple interesting elements here. I can see first, all of the services from the incident have been copied over. All of the title information and description has been copied over, as well as the affected items have been copied over. That allows for me to have some of that base information from my previous work item. I can also see that this is related to that earlier incident. So this allows me to have perhaps even many incidents related to this problem to show the relationship between a problem and the things that it's fixing. I can also see it has its own category, like this is a network issue. It has its own impact. Maybe this is impacting all users, and it's making them unable to work. So it's priority 0. Or a significant user work interruption, or whatever. So these different things are then creating my priority. And that's then relating to what my goal is from a resolution time. Now, problem management resolution time could be everything from a month to never, right? I might never be interested in fixing a particular problem because it's an inconvenience. I want to know what happens. Maybe I've developed a workaround for it, but it's not maybe even my problem to solve. Maybe it's a software vendor's problem to solve. And I've got a workaround for it, so I'm not really all that interested in fixing it. It allows me to find which issues are more important than others and then prioritize those issues. Now, when I'm working on it, I can use that incident data to be able to make appropriate decisions. I can also do things like changing its status and reactivating it and resolving it, and then also defining the resolution pattern. So I can talk about the error description. I can mark it as a known error that when they're working on an incident, allows them to be able to go in and use that known error to be able to implement a workaround, which would be here. It allows me to be able to implement a major problem review process that allows me to prioritize this higher with more people in a more structured way, maybe even a different structured way than the problem management processes for, say, less important problems. It also allows me to build in resolution categories for the overall problem itself. And one thing that we can do is once we've resolved a problem, we might allow for that to auto-close all the incidents because maybe it's automatically resolved all those incidents challenges. Like if there were some incidents open about a service pack that needed to get applied to fix a memory leak, resolving that incident also then resolved the resolving that problem also then resolved the incident or resolved the parent incident that then resolved all of its children. So it allows for me to be able to use problem management as a very effective root cause analysis tool. This process is prioritized against other problems. So these different problems that exist here get prioritized against each other, and we say, okay, I want you to spend most of your time on this wireless internet not working issue. I want you to spend most of your time on I can't log into Outlook web access issue, or it might be called memory leak issue, right? So problem management allows for me to be very structured in terms of how I'm telling people to focus their time inside of IT. Now, problem management is something that usually comes after incident management when you're talking about implementation times, because incident management is fighting the initial fire. Service request is setting expectations of the customers. Problem management isn't quite as customer-facing. It's not quite as much as end-user facing, but it is important because it allows us to reduce the total number of incidents. So it's something important to bake into your ITIL adoption process. Now, when you're thinking about problem management, the way I can encourage you to start is just think about it as this task list. Think about it as a list of things that you eventually want to accomplish and you want to get done inside of IT. And then that allows for you to be able to implement a pattern to resolving those things on a reoccurring basis and focus on the right activities inside of problem management, the right prioritization processes. Problem management, when it's really effective, has reoccurring problem management reviews where you're getting together and saying, let's review our problem list and let's figure out what are the most important things for each group of people to be doing. The more intentional you are, the more effective you'll be at resolving problems because your people will be focused on the right things. It's really all about helping us to be better leaders of our IT teams. All right, now we've shown an example of problem management and its activities within the Service Manager interface. What do we do now? Well, let's start with, do I have my own prioritized root cause analysis list? Do I have a things to do list? Is this something that I've organized? Or is this something that I really don't have in my business? And I just kind of slingshot around between problem analyses based upon what's important for that day or who's been yelling the loudest. Problem management allows us to be intentional. And if we really take the time to focus on what is the most important thing to fix, that allows for our people to be more effective. It allows for us to be intentional leaders and allows us to lead them toward the right things to spend their time on. Next time, we'll close out our series with a conversation regarding continuous service improvement. Continuous service improvement is all about how do we do these practices in a cyclical way? How does one practice feed another practice? And how do we use this as a group? We'll determine how, ultimately, we can get better at delivering IT services to our users.